messed up the...
Why?
Because if I sit up, I need something on my head.
Oh, you'll be fine. Hey, what's going on with you? This is Skater Claus coming at you live from Skater Claus Labs with my partner.
Tyra.
And so we're going to do a quick music video for you today. You know, we haven't been doing it every day, and basically that's just because, you know, hey, how's it going? So we have not been doing them every day because Tyrus's school has decided that they're going to be remote for the rest of the year, and they've just been doing a lot more of activities online, so we have some conflicts. But we're back at it. We're going to do some more intricate genre videos when we get some time. But we just had a lot going on. So anyway, today we're just going to talk about chords on the guitar really quick. Guitar is, you know, the instrument I'm best at. Tyrus plays piano, and he's really good. But anyway, so let's talk about chords. And basically the two things I want to talk about are open chords versus bar chords and how they're useful. So open chord is basically where, you know, you play it at the top near the nut. Hey, how's it going? And so you can see here, so like this is the C, and you know, you just strum it. And you know, most of the notes are just open other than the, you know, 3 that you depress to get the 1, 3, and 5 in there. So Tyrus, do you like this chord? Do you recognize what that is? It's a C. So there's a C, there's a D, there's E, and there's A, and then G. And you'll notice that I left off the B and the F, and that's because just with the way the guitar is designed, there's not really an open way to play those. So that's kind of where bar chords come in. So a bar chord, unlike an open chord, it works kind of like this. So imagine like this white thing here, you know, the nut is like a finger, and it's keeping everything in tune. So with a bar chord, you know, basically you're gonna take like your basic E shape open, but then we gotta move it down to the F position. And when we do that, we need to use this finger to depress all the strings on the fret right below it. Okay, so that's the F. And then the same thing again with the B chords. So you make an A chord. Imagine that, you know, the nut is your finger, and then move it, you know, to A sharp down to B. So you move it to B. And then of course, as I talked about before, all these chords have variations on them. So I mean, with the E, you know, you can flat to the 3rd to make it a minor. Same with the A. Okay, and the minor is like a little bit more mournful of a sound, right? It sounds a little bit sadder. And what's cool about this is you can take the basic E shape and A shape, and you know, the first 2 strings on the guitar, they're E and they're A. So if you learn the E and the A string and like what all the different positions are, what the note is, or like the key, then you can make any chord you want based on just those 2 shapes. So just to give you an example, so you know, you got E, but then you want to make an F, so like I said, you move it down, and then you do the same thing with a regular E shape to an F to make it an F minor. So you lift up your middle finger, and now you have an F minor. So again, this is really good just because, you know, let's say there's a weird chord that we want to learn to play. You know, it's something like a diminished 4 or something. You know, instead of learning kind of how to do a, you know, open D diminished 4, you can learn how to do it with the E shape or the A shape, and then you can just use the bar chord to move it around. And then also one other cool thing about it is that if you know how to use the E and the A and where you are, a lot of times there's just like natural progressions that are a lot... Please stop messing with him.
He wants to be lifted.
No, he doesn't. So you can play some progressions a lot faster. So for example, let's do an E, F, G. So So that's just an E F G where you're using the E shape and then barring it down to an F and then dragging that shape down to a G, which is a lot easier than, you know, if you can see my hand, if you're trying to do it with open chords, you have to do E. And then, I mean, again, you always have to bar it for the F. So then you go F. And then you have to completely switch your hand position up for the open G. And then switch it back to the F. So again, this just makes it quicker and easier. And it's a good tool to learn. So that's basically it. That's all I wanted to talk about. Tyrus, and piano, do you use chords?
Chords?
Have
No.
you started doing that? No?
There is no chords in piano.
Well, there are. I just don't think you've learned them yet. But you know what? Arpeggios are like chords. So an arpeggio, for those that don't know, is basically you take a chord and instead of strumming it or playing it all at once, you do... You kind of play the notes individually. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to remember House of the Rising Sun because I like to play that in arpeggio. But yeah, so that's an arpeggio, and it's a cool tool to use. Oops, sorry. Yeah, see, so that's an arpeggio. It's a really cool tool to use. And so, Tyrus, that's something you do in piano, right? Is arpeggios? So basically, arpeggios are chords. It's just instead of playing the three notes at the same time, you're playing them in succession.
And it's not, in arpeggios, it's actually not playing three notes at once.
Well, you're playing every note kind of for what that chord would be across the entire keyboard is the way you do it. But then what else do? You're doing scales now too, right? Right. Okay. Also, I will say one popular variation on the bar chord is a power chord, which you see a lot in like punk rock and hard rock, which is basically like, you know, if you can see, it's just the 1 and the 5. It takes the 3 out. So like right here, this would be a power chord, and you just play these 2 strings. So it's got like a harder sound because the 3 makes it sound more melodic. When you remove the 3 and you just do the 1 and the 5, it gives it more of a hard sound. And again, since this is just 2 strings, it's a pretty easy chord to master. So those are power chords, and I mean, honestly, that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about today. So let me just play it a little tiny bit, and then we'll sign off. So. What are you doing? Sorry, my boys are being silly.